As the race heats up, most political analysts are expecting highly competitive primaries for both parties with a lot at stake. New Jersey has one of the most powerful governorships in the country, wielding line-item veto power over the budget and future laws, among other things. But the candidates in both parties face a challenging political climate, not to mention the first primary fully without the so-called party line ballot. So what's the path to a victory? Micah Rasmussen, director of the Rebovich Institute for New Jersey Politics, joins us to discuss. Micah, good to see you. It feels like you were just here for election night. So why is it that we see so many candidates jumping into this governor's race?
Well, I think the first thing is that this seat has not been open in 8 years. So you mentioned that it's the most powerful governorship in the country, and it has been a long time since it's been up for grabs. And so all of our top figures on the Republican side and the Democratic side are finding this an irresistible race to jump at. The members of Congress who are running see an open opportunity. They don't have to give up their seats to run for it because we have these odd year elections. So there's just a lot of reasons why everybody has jumped into this race. We saw a little preview of this with Congressman Payne's successor.
Yeah.
About 10 candidates jumped into this lineless primary, and this may now be what we see going forward, is that more people are willing to jump in and take things on if they don't see the party is stacked against them.
So then what's at risk in terms of getting lost in the shuffle of all of the names? I mean, these are all pretty major candidates when it comes to those who are in political circles, but there was a Rutgers-Eagleton poll recently that found most New Jersey voters don't have any opinion of these folks, nor do they have name recognition.
Yeah. So in order to get name recognition between now and the primary, which is about 200 days away, not a long time, all of us are still focused on the presidential race that just ended, but we've got a big one coming up very quickly. And the thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to spend money to build name recognition. They're going to have to put ads on TV and on the radio and in the mailbox. And so that is something that I'm confident that with these A-list candidates that we have, they will all be in a position to do that. I don't think fundraising is going to be an issue for many of them. I think that all of them have the basis for taking what they're known in an area, they're known in a congressional district or in their city, and building that statewide. But it takes time and it takes money.
So which candidates then would you say, as far as maybe they won't have a county line on the ballot, but definitely the apparatus and the money behind them, are there candidates who are already emerging as top contenders?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And the reason why it's so good is because in an ideal world, we might have between 800,000, maybe 1 million voters at the absolute most who participate in the Democratic primary and less than that on the Republican primary side. So that means that with so many candidates in the field, you could win this race with 200,000 votes, maybe even a little bit less on the Republican side. So the path is very different for how they get to that 200,000 votes. Fulop says he can do it as an outsider. He doesn't need these county organizations, and we are thinking in the old way when we're thinking in terms of who's got what counties. Baraka is going to try and get it through voters of color around the state. He's not going to be limited by county organizations either. But clearly Mikey Sherrill has a lead when it comes to those 4 big counties that she has support in, Passaic and Essex and Middlesex and Morris. And that is about 175,000 of the votes that voted last time in the primary were in those 4 counties for Democrats. Just a little bit behind her is Steve Sweeney, who thinks he's got the South back locked up with about 125,000 of the votes from the last time, and Gottheimer, who's got Bergen County, about 50,000 votes, and he thinks he's making a real strong play on Hudson, so that puts him in the pack as well, although he's not going to get a clear shot out of Hudson because Fulop is going to be there too.
But I wonder, Micah, just based off of the national political trends that we saw in this last election, could that upend any of this thinking, any of this conventional wisdom? If Mikey's got the Middlesex and even just Middlesex and Essex, right? Typically we would say that gives her an edge, but could we be in for a surprise?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the biggest question, I think, is how many of those Trump voters stay and participate this year. Typically, they only participate in presidential level elections. But Ciattarelli and Bramnick and Spadia are going to be making a play for keeping them out, keeping them participating this time. How many of those people will participate again? And if they do, Republicans certainly feel like they have a case to be made for a competitive fall season.
Very quickly, affordability, do you expect that to be the top issue that emerges?
It seems to be the lesson that everybody got out of the presidential election. We're going to have a New Jersey play on it. New Jersey Transit, we're going to see all those issues that relate specifically to affordability in New Jersey, property taxes.
Micah, we'll be talking a lot more over the next 7 months. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.